Okay, friends, we're back on the second video with this little piece from our last video. Oh, that's disappointing. Alright. Let's see, hang on, I got an idea. Bloop. Perfect. Okay, so you're gonna get your strips from the first section of that last video. You're gonna need the ones that you cut first.
I want to make a cheeseburger.
If you have a lot of excess on your edges here, before we start this next step, go ahead and trim that up to make sure that there's not a lot of fluff in the straps. And all I'm doing is cutting right next to that seam. This is why it's important to have nice scissors. Well, these pieces that you're trimming off, obviously you can't do anything with them. Put them in your trash. You're going to want to unfold it kind of to do this part. If you try to cut it while you still have it folded, you're liable to screw it up because nobody's perfect. So just unfold it as you do this step.
Daddy, let's make a monster truck. One wheel, 2 wheels, 3 wheels.
So we're just giving our mask a haircut. Nope.
Even my finger is 4. And this is 4 wheels. What? Tire. Cut that. And my fingers.
Okay. Almost done, guys. Remember though, slow and steady.
2 wheels.
Okay.
4 wheels.
Alright, see? All I did was give it a teeny tiny haircut. And see how those edges are just tiny now? That's important. Okay, so your long strips you're still going to set aside because you don't need them yet. But your shorter strips, we're about to use those guys. So I think the pattern calls for you to pin this part. I've been having a lot of success not having to pin it. So what you're going to do is take your strips with the pattern side facing down and lay them on your mask with the non-pattern side facing up. That's the side we're going to be working with. Okay? So if you flip it over, this is what it looks like. So you've got your pattern part of the mask and the pattern part of the strip facing the same way. Okay. Perfect. Ooh, I may have to change a bobbin soon. Okay, so what you're gonna do? Oh, that's real unfortunate. Okay. What you're gonna want to do is have your phone on a stable surface so that it doesn't keep falling. I'm sorry. Set your mask underneath your strip. Line up the edges. Line up the edges as much as you can. My phone is not cooperating. I'm very sorry. I'm looking for a solution right now. Okay, let's see if that helps. Okay. Alright. So there's that. You're going to line up the edge of your strip with the edge of your mask. Hold the pleats in place. You're really going to hate yourself if you don't hold these pleats in place. Hold them in place with your hand as you go. And we're just going to sew a straight line right on the edge of this mask. We're going to sew the strip to the mask. Remember, slow and steady. Hold the pleats in place. Hold them in place. Listen to me. Hold them in place. Okay. Now, that's all I did was sew the strip to the mask with one stitch just a little bit away from the edge. Okay? Now my line's kind of crooked because I'm not perfect. And then you're going to go to the other side and do the exact same thing. Line up your strip with the edge of your mask, again with the pattern side facing down. Hold the pleats down. Hold them down. Hold them down. I find it's easiest to put my finger right along the strip to hold the pleats. Then it holds the pleats and the strip in place. And then you're just going to run it through one time. Okay. Alright, so that step is done. I'm gonna set you right here and show you what I did. This is what you end up with.
What is it?
Alright. This next part may be kind of tricky if I don't explain it right, so I'm gonna do my best. You're gonna fold. This is the back side of the mask. This is that non-pattern side of the strip. You're gonna take it and you're gonna fold it upwards. See?
There you go. Good boy.
Then you're gonna go.
And these are touching. Oof.
You're gonna do that to both sides, and I'm about to bring you over here and show you what I'm doing. Now, I've been able to just fold mine without having to pin it and iron it, but for the sake of completeness, I guess, I'm going to show you how to do it with the iron and all that. Now, I've gotten to the point to where I'm just going to show you with this one strip how to do it with the iron, and then I'll show you with the other strip how I do it. Okay. So you're going to take your iron and iron in that seam. Be real careful not to give yourself a second-degree burn. This is important. Now notice that I didn't go all the way to the ends because the ends aren't important. They're going to get cut off. So let me show you what I did. All I did was iron right here. The main part that you want to make sure is creased is right along this mask, a little bit under, a little bit over. That's it. So, let me see if I can show you right here. See if that's any better.
What do you need a marker for? What do I need a marker for?
Okay. So you're going to take the outside edge of the strip and fold it in. It should meet up with that first one that you sewed. Or that first one that you ironed. I'll show you what I'm talking about. All I did was fold this part in to make that line. And now I'm going to take my iron and sew that part in. Okay?
Daddy, I think it's a T-Rex. Oh,
And now I'm going to take the result of that, fold it over one last time,
Is it a T-Rex? No. I don't know.
pin it,
I don't know if it's a T-Rex at all.
pin it. And all I did was take this and fold it over towards the mask. And then you're going to take your iron and iron that in. Okay, that's it. Then you're going to take this part over to your sewing machine. Okay. And you're just going to do one line going down. You're going to start a little bit above where the mask starts. And just go down to a little bit underneath where the mask stops. Okay? Bless you. Alright, so you end up with this. And you're going to take your handy dandy scissors and give it a haircut. To where what you're left with is this. So all I did was trim those ends off. That was it. Now, you got the sneezels, pal. You sound like you got the sneezels.
I'm trying to get that Lego off.
Oh no. Okay. Stop.
I keep
Now,
my things in.
the way that I do it, I find it to be a lot quicker. And once you get it under your fingers, it's really not that difficult. You're still going to fold up that edge. You're still going to fold up that edge. Hold it with your fingers. Fold down that second part. And then just fold it without ironing it or pinning it or doing all that extra.
Is that really? Where do you use it? What are you using? A screwdriver? I want to do this. Candy.
Can you make sure he stays over there?
Yeah.
Okay. And then I'm just going to hold it in place as you can't see past that mask. Oh, and I still have the thing tilted. Okay. So I've got the same seam, it's just not ironed. And then I'm just doing the exact same thing and sewing along that line. Starting a little bit above the mask, ending a little bit below it. Okay? And then also give it a haircut. All right. And we're almost done, friends. We're doing great. This next part is what takes the longest. I've been having my husband do the ironing part of this next part because of my stupid hand. So you're going to grab your strips from earlier, trim off any loose threads that you see, give them a haircut. Okay. And what you're going to do is lay your mask with the pattern side down.
Oh, we're down here, I forgot.
Okay, first I'm going to show you the way that I do it, and then I'm going to show you the way that involves using the iron. So you're going to take where your seam is and try to line it up with those little creases that you cut earlier, those guys, so that it's about, oh dang, look at that. My darn thing came undone. Alright, hang on. Okay. Okay. Sorry, my machine came unthreaded. You're going to line it up again with the edge to edge. See? Now you're going to have to adjust this part as you go because it's the way the mask is contoured, you're just going to have to adjust. There's no real way around it, honestly.
Okay, let's make some.
Okay. So all I'm going to do is sew this strip to the mask. Pattern side of the strip down. The same exact way we did these side bindings. Okay? These are going to be your straps for your mask. And see, I'm just kind of adjusting it as I go. And then I'm going to stop right at the end of the mask. So I sewed from this section of the mask all the way to the end, and that's it. And then you're going to do the same thing on the other side.
I'm making some moss up.
Okay. And all I'm doing is the exact same thing that we did on the binding. That's it. The exact same thing. Just on a bigger scale. Now I have my sewing machine set to go slow versus the fastest that it can go because I like to leave room for me to make mistakes because I do that frequently. Give it a haircut, trim up any excess threads that you see. Toss those guys out. Alrighty. Now I guess I'm trying to think the best way to do this to show you both ways. Alright, I'm going to show you the way that I do it first.
Daddy?
And then I will show you the way
Daddy?
that involves the iron.
Daddy?
Alright, the way that I do this,
Daddy?
I'm going to try to,
Daddy? Daddy?
okay.
Daddy?
The way that I do this
Daddy?
is I lay the mask out
Daddy?
and then I just fold it up.
Daddy?
And I kind of use my fingers
Answer me.
to hold that crease down as I go.
What are these?
They're chocolate chips or something else.
Oh, can you make a mock-up please for me?
Yeah,
Okay.
after I'm done finishing building this dino
Boop.
right here.
Dork.
Dino used to build,
Okay.
man.
Two more bowls.
I'm not done.
So see, all I did was fold that.
This and that.
There is an easier way to do this, and I will show it to you
And I'll
after I'm done showing you this strap the way that I do it.
I'll make this.
And then fold that one in,
This go in there.
and then fold that part.
This one.
Whoop, boop, boop, boop.
Put it on here. Like this.
Fold that
I'll
part
show you.
in half. So you end up with this.
Yes.
Set that guy under your sewing machine. I find that to be the most difficult part of this, because the rest, you can just kind of fold it and use your fingernail to crease it as you go, so that you end up with a strap.
Now, put this down.
But getting that end part set is the hardest part for me. Now again, I will show you a different way to do this in just a second, after I finish this strap.
Goes right here. Right.
Push it in.
And with this method, you just kind of got to go slow. Check it as you go. You're going to have to stop every so often to refold your strap. Okay, it's time for me to refold this new part. And just,
Mommy?
yeah. Ooh, fancy. Wow.
That was tough work. That's all the sand on it.
You better throw that sand away. Alright, I am going to stop right here and change my bobbin, because it looks like my bobbin is about 0.2 seconds from giving out. And I don't want it to give out in the middle of this video and have to go back and redo it. But it won't take me but a second, because this machine is amazing. And to change the bobbin takes like 2 seconds. So, alright.
I broke it.
Yeah, look at that. There wasn't barely anything left on there. That was a good call.
Daddy, can you make me a pancake? Can you make me a pancake?
Okay, I'll set that aside to rework it later. What did you do?
Broke his leg.
Oh my god.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see this. Like,
Okay.
time to like
I'm just gonna set this guy back in there. And set myself back up. Now when you get to this mask part, you're going to want to make sure these folds are as even as possible.
Time for
I'm choosing to stop as I go so that I can make sure that this is all folded right
Daddy,
and that it's as even as possible.
I want to blow this about to stand.
Okay.
Can I take it off?
Alright, that should do it.
Unless I know how to put it on the plate. Yeah, can I have it now? Give it to me. Just give it to me.
Alistair, is that how you talk to people?
One second. I have to show
Alright.
our dinosaur to the Facebooks so they know.
And then just crease it. Keep creasing. Keep folding. Keep going. Just crease as you go. You find the shortcut that works for you. This is the shortcut that works for me. And in a second, I will show you the step-by-step way to do this. That involves using the iron and all that. Because I'm almost to the end of this strap.
Make an actual pancake.
Yeah.
Throw it in the sand. Let's do it. Put it in there. Put it in there. Just throw it in there.
Yeah, so soft. This is so soft.
I know, but let's make it right.
Wow, there's still a sand. Actually, I want to use this sand for fuel. I made a T-Rex. What's the
Okay. So that's the end of that strap. Once you're done with the straps, take the ends, give them the slightest little haircut. Now, you can choose to sew a diagonal line and then give it a haircut. I haven't been doing that, and I haven't seen any difference in quality. So I'm just gonna cut it at a diagonal. And then that strap is now done. Now, the long way to do it. Oop,
What are you doing?
this fabric is just terrible. Gracious. Okay,
You can have mine.
now let's go over to our ironing station so I can show you the long way to do it.
How do you make? You use these patterns. You do this pattern out.
Guys, please. Alright, the long way to do it
You just hammer them out.
is just like the long way to do the binding. You're gonna start at your mask part, fold it downward, and we're gonna flip it over. It'll make life easier.
Mama, I love you.
I love you too, buddy. Fold it. And you're going to have to pin as you go. Now, it's not as big of a deal because they're not breathing through the straps. Let's see if I can scoot this back side. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Fold it. Pin it. Fold it. Pin it. Now, you can do like we did with the binding and iron this step and then
Over to four.
continue to the next step. It may be easier for you, but you can also go ahead, fold over the other edge, because we know what we have to do because we've already done it before with the binding. Oh man, there goes that pin. Okay, and all I'm doing is folding these straps and pinning them so that we can iron them in a second. And I will lift up my phone and show you guys what I'm talking about in just a second.
Right now I'm exhausted. That was exhausting.
I bet.
Science be like that sometimes.
Can you make me some chocolate chip pancakes?
Yeah. Give me a second.
No. Hey, stop slamming. Oh, stop slamming. No. Slam.
All right, so all I did was fold it and pin it the entire way down. That's it. That's all I did. Now I'm gonna take my iron and iron in those seams.
Daddy, you just press free.
Move my phone so that the steam from the iron doesn't get on it. Okay.
Buddy, wait for me.
Wait for me.
Check it as you go. Don't be afraid to fix any imperfections that you see happening. But be careful because this is how I burned the crap out of my hand. Was doing this exact step. I was ironing down a seam, and when I went to lift up the iron, all the steam went onto one part of my hand. It was exciting.
Stop it, I don't like that. That is back the spoon on my head.
Well.
No.
Okay. And then you're just going to iron it all the way down.
I have chocolate chip. I got chocolate chip pancakes. Chocolate chip inside. Eden, what you looking for? She'll cook you some fries.
Cookie, whatever you want. Just keep the volume down.
30.
Start heating up the oven right now, baby girl.
Alright, and for the section of the strap that did not fit on the towel, I'm just going to move my mask and finish that section. Bloop. Okay. I'm realizing now that about an hour of the video that I filmed previously was me fixing my sewing machine. That is
Mama?
wild. Yeah, buddy.
Why
Stay
was-
over there. Stay over there. What?
Because what was the number on my chocolate chip pancakes? 1, 3, 0.
I don't know, buddy. I don't know what you're talking about.
Not everything's 3 minutes to cook, I promise you.
So I'm just gonna go to the bottom part of that strap
Daddy,
and continue what I was
if you
doing.
touch that, you'll get electrocuted. I want to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. 9, 8,
All right.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3,
Now you're gonna take it and you're gonna do the exact same thing you did on the binding and fold it in half again. Okay? I'll start at this end so you can see. All you're doing is folding that strap in half again. That's it. Just like you did on the binding. Now you can put pins as frequent as you'd like. It doesn't have to be super spaced out the way that I'm doing it. I prefer them super spaced out. That's just me. My husband likes to put 1,000 pins on the strap. That's fine. If that's the way you choose to do it, that's just fine.
I just like to get it flat the first time. Like, you know.
He says it helps him get it flat the first time, so it may help you get it flat the first time if you put 1,000 pins in there.
But you know what?
That's on you. If that's what you want to do,
You know what? It's
do
your
it.
world. It's your world. You know?
Right, it's your world.
It's your world, you know? It's your little world. It's your little mask.
Hey.
Yeah, your happy little mask.
Happy
Your
little mask.
quarantine mask.
Happy little quarantine.
Mommy,
Yeah, bud.
do we got more Clorox like every single this way?
Nah, dude. Clorox wipes are hard to
Some
find.
people like to put filters in it. Some people like to breathe.
So all I'm doing is ironing in that fold that I just did. Oop. Happy little fold. My husband is making so much fun of me right now, and I'm gonna beat him up.
But man, you gotta iron the devil out of it.
You do gotta iron the devil out of it. He's right. All I'm doing is ironing in
How hungry I was.
that fold that I just did. That's it. That's all I'm doing. Okay. Take those pins up. Okay. So what you end up with is this. Okay? And you're going to go over to your handy dandy sewing machine. Honey, would you get my mask out of my purse?
Hey, Daddy, I cut a big daisy in the box.
Okay.
Be careful, it's a chocolate worm.
Okay. Oh, sorry, I'm falling apart. Alright, so what you're going to do now is just do the exact same thing that we did on the binding. You're going to sew the strap. Thank you. You're going to sew the strap together. That's it. Hang on, I'm gonna adjust this real quick. Just to make sure we don't end up having to
Did I get that book for Christmas?
fix anything.
Did I get that book for Christmas present? We just gave you that earlier.
Boy, would you be quiet? We're just gonna keep going. Alright, and all I did was sew straight down the whole darn thing. And I'm going to do like I did before with the other straps. Give them a diagonal haircut.
Well, I need my soda package.
Okay. That's all I did. And then your mask is done. And that's it. Now I'm going to show you how to put this mask on. Not this particular one because this one isn't for me and I don't want to get my germs in it. Okay, I'm going to set you up here. There we go. I need to iron my pleats back in. As you wear these masks, you'll notice that the pleats kind of fall out. All you have to do, since they're sewn in, all you have to do is go back to your iron them back in. That's it. Just line them up with your fingers and just iron it back in. Alright, so you're going to look inside your mask for that long seam and for that short seam. The long seam goes over your nose. And then you're going to take your straps. Try not to tie your hair up in it if you have long hair. If you have short hair, your life's probably pretty easy right now. Okay. Then just take your bottom strap where that little seam is. It's going to go right at the edge of your chin so that it has a good fit to your face. And you're going to tie it to where it's comfortable. And that's it. Notice the edges of the mask are with the edge of my face. It's for that tighter fit. See? That tighter fit is what's going to help keep as much as possible, as much as a cloth mask is possible, out. Okay? And that's it. It's easy peasy. I hope this helps. I hope this one's a little more helpful than the last one. I know that with the last one, my sewing machine kept messing up and it just wasn't a fun time. Sorry. But this one, I hope is a little bit better since I've got my handy dandy new sewing machine and life is wonderful. Okay guys, bye.